Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the number one source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter. Hey, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Welcome to Saturday Night Dialogues. We're going to get rocking and rolling. It is November the 29th, 2025. I hope everyone enjoyed their Thanksgiving, and you will continue to do so with your family and friends, whomever you're going to enjoy with for the rest of the weekend. But we need to get down into business, folks, because 2026 is going to be a very, very special year for many of us. And Goldilocks is showing exactly how we're going to bring it to you tonight and make sure that we express it and show it in black and white so that you understand. Let's get into some prayer and let's move. Father God, we thank you for this opportunity to come before your people again. We thank you for the opportunity to be here. We also ask that you continue to protect and cover everyone who might be traveling for the holidays so that they may arrive to their destinations and back safely and sound. We ask you to keep them covered and protected with your heavenly angels and allow them to be safe on their way. We ask that you allow each and everybody that's listening to this call to be able to, at least one person, to receive it and understand it, comprehend it, and execute the information that we're going to share tonight so that they can be prepared for this blessing that millions around the world are waiting for. We thank you for Goldilocks. We thank you for Wiley. We thank you for the tribe. We thank you for She-Hawk. We thank you for everyone that's listening to this call. And we ask that you protect and provide for everyone in your way. In your precious name, we pray. Amen. All right, folks, we're going to get this. We have a lot of information to share with you tonight. Goldilocks shared this during this week. And I know this week was a short week because of Thanksgiving. But in the early part of the week, Goldilocks shared the information of the updates of the FOREX codes within the global banking systems. That's every bank, every central bank, inclusive of the Central Bank of Iraq, the Central Bank of Vietnam, inclusive of Venezuela, inclusive of whichever currency you hold. I'm going to say that again, whichever currency that you hold. Those central banks that govern those currencies, all of the codes, all of the FOREX codes have been updated as of this month, November and January, beginning of 2026. Those codes will be active and live within all of the banks throughout the world. Those new FOREX codes. These FOREX codes, they are numeric. There are 3-digit numeric codes and also 3-digit alphanumeric codes. And Wiley shared in the room months ago about ISO 4217. Folks, this is the list of currencies that if you want to know if the currencies you hold are going to be included in the RV, you should at least want to know if the currencies that you hold are on this list. Months ago, we talked about this and Goldilocks shared about it on these codes. But that was before all of the codes were updated. Now they are completely updated in the banking systems. We're going to go into that tonight. All right, real quick, quick announcements. Goldilocks QFS Dialogues room, as you know, is a read-only room. We were there for 12, sometimes more hours per day for 6 days a week over a year and a half ago when we first started this room. We poured and poured and poured into each and every one of you. Many of you are the fruits of that labor, and you are completely set and sorted with your banks, with your bankers, your private wealth managers, these institutional investors that literally, not figuratively speaking, but literally are a part of the RV. Why? Because they are the ones that move currencies around the world, literally every day in the trillions. It's over $20 trillion a day that moves in the FOREX market. And these institutional investors that can also be considered wealth management firms, they're the ones that move Forex. They're the ones that transact Forex in the trillions daily. And many of you have those relationships. And we're going to discuss tonight the codes that they have updated into the banking system in preparation for the currencies to begin to move into their real values. All right. So also we have Dee's room, where she shares articles from around the world on the global financial system. Then we have Goldilocks Global Banking News, the daily podcast, where we bring to you an audio form so that you don't have to be concerned about reading, understanding, comprehending what you might read, and you can possibly understand it in audio form in a podcast daily. Over 2 million views on the YouTube channel, where people from around the world, over 80 countries, where with thousands of people that are subscribed. Don't be the one that hasn't subscribed yet. Don't be the one who hasn't turned on your notifications yet. Don't be the one who misses your daily updates from the Goldilocks Global Banking News. All right. I don't see Wiley, but Peculiar Ram, I think I saw you. And I know there's a lot of people that are still getting fat with their families, eating good food. I know I did. And I still got some more Patty LaBelle sweet potato pie that I have to finish. But
oh Lord.
Good
Freedom, I slept all day today. You hear me?
What? That's good.
I slept all day. Yes, it was necessary. It was needed.
Good for you.
I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving.
Yes. All right, let's get rocking and rolling. There's a lot of information tonight, folks. So I don't want to belabor the moment. We're gonna get right down to business. And for some of you who are hearing this for the first time, you must understand and know if what currencies you hold are going to be included or not. And we're going to show you tonight those currencies. Well, we're going to show you the update of the codes. We shared the list of the currencies before. We're going to briefly share that list with you tonight as well. All right. So if you don't know, this is going to be your opportunity to find out. And if you don't know and you bypass this information, just imagine you going to exchange your currency and they tell you your currency is not in the international banking system and recognized when you're expecting to get millions of dollars in your currency exchange or whatever it may be. Don't let that be you. All right. Now, of course, we're going to get right into the first and the root of it all. The Trump administration leaked. Well, not leaked. It's an article that the Goldilocks team was made privy to about Trump's agenda for the RV. This is 2024 of April, and we have it in black and white. What President Trump's inner circle said that he's going to do for the RV, how he's going to implement it. And we're seeing exactly how he's doing it consistently.
Yeah.
And now, especially with tariffs. You ready, young lady?
I'm ready.
Let's rock and roll.
All right. Currency revaluation is likely to be a priority for some members of a potential second Trump administration, mainly because of the viewpoint that an overvalued dollar contributes to the trade deficit, said one former Trump administration official, adding that Lighthizer and his team are the primary advocates for the approach. But weakening the dollar could have other far-reaching consequences, from sending consumer prices for imported products soaring to inviting retaliation from other countries and threatening the dollar's role as world reserve currency, which would undermine U.S. sanctions on adversaries like Iran and Russia.
Now, folks, if you ever want to know the truth, the facts, the naked truth of how the RV happens, because Ram just read it to you directly from the Trump administration. Currency revival, the RV. This is April 2024. The RV is likely to be a priority. The evaluation of currencies is likely to be a priority. Currency revaluation is likely to be a priority. Global currency reset is likely to be a priority of some members of the potential second Trump administration. Folks, this was before the election. This was in April of 2024. The election was not until November of 2024. Why are they talking about currency revaluation in April of 2024 as an agenda of President Trump if he was going to return and be reelected?
Mm-hmm.
But now they're telling us that it's his agenda, but it's also telling us how he's going to do it. Currency revaluation is likely to be a priority for some members of the potential second Trump administration, mainly because of the viewpoint that an overvalued dollar, meaning the dollar is overvalued, overinflated, too big for its britches. So the viewpoint that the overvalued dollar contributes to the trade deficit in the United States, meaning one of the major reasons why the United States continues to lose money. Well, at that time we were, but now when Trump came back into office, it says, now, how is it going to happen? By weakening the dollar. See, again, we've covered this several times, but for many of you, this is the first time hearing it. So I'm taking it upon myself to explain it to you, how the RV happens, so that when you are hearing whatever you hear in Dinar land, you at least will have the foundation, the facts in writing from the Trump administration, who the RV is his priority, how it's going to happen, how it's done, so that you understand that there has not, because you might question yourself, well, how has there been a delay? Well, how has it not happened yet? Well, if you understand how it's going to happen, you will know that there's never been a delay. You will see that it's an actual plan and it's being played out in your face and you don't even know it because you're looking over to the left when it's happening on the right. Look over here, not there. And that's what's being done to many of you in Guru Fufu land.
Yes.
Currency revaluation, the RV, is likely to be a priority of the second Trump administration due to an overvalued dollar. We have a problem, America. We have a problem. And now we have a solution. What's the problem? An overvalued dollar. What's the biggest problem? The trade deficit. We are losing money, America, in trade.
Mm-hmm.
It's a deficit, meaning it's depleted. That means there's more going out money than coming in. There's a deficit.
Yep.
It's like if you're in weight training, if you have a calorie deficit, you'll lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
So, folks, you gotta understand this is a problem. What's the solution? The Trump administration says the solution to this is to level the playing field. The solution to this is to weaken the dollar, which is the main culprit from which these countries, for the currencies that many of us hold, those countries, Vietnam, Iraq, and others, they continue to devalue the dong, the dinar, and every other currency because they've been allowed to use the U.S. dollar in trade. Remember this overvalued greenback, this overvalued dollar? They've been allowed to use this overvalued, overinflated currency called the U.S. dollar, and they was eating high off the hog like many of us was doing this Thanksgiving on that turkey.
Sure
I'm telling you. So, folks, the Trump administration, it's in writing. You don't have to hear the hopium and the dopium that's out there to get you on the roller coaster to then find out, oh, there was a delay. The planes in Hong Kong were rerouted to Reno and to Mars. So it was held off for another week. The Trump administration is telling you how the RV is going to happen, and it's a priority. They gave you the problem. They gave you the problem, trade deficit, and they gave you the solution, which is to level the playing field. President Trump in 2017, when he was asked by the reporter, President Trump, how are you going to handle the issue with currency devaluation? He said, we're going to level the playing field. Then there was a re-election, and then we know what happened there. And then Sleepy Joe came in. But now 2024, April, months before the November election, the Trump administration says no. The revaluation of currencies is priority of the second Trump administration, and this is how. I know many of you've heard this before. You've heard us read this to you before, but understand it. Don't just hear it. Mm-hmm. Because you've heard it, but then you go all over Guru Fufu land and you hear all these different things. And if you listen and pay attention to what the Trump administration is telling you, you will begin to identify what's fact in Dinar land and what's not.
True.
All you got to do is follow what Goldilocks has been saying. Trade. The Trump administration is saying the RV will happen through trade. Why is Goldilocks stated always consistently for 7 years to watch the water? Because currencies move in unlimited amounts in the most way on the water through trade. What is the Trump administration saying how the RV will happen? Why it needs to happen? Because of the trade deficit. I wanted to hit that home. If you think that I'm hitting you in the head plenty of times for you to understand this, that's exactly why I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. Because some folks need to hear the same thing over and over and over and over again before they get it. I'm not going to lie. I was that somebody when I was a child. They say a hard head makes a soft behind. I had a soft behind because I had a hard head when them whoopings from my parents gave me consistently. After about 8 or 9 years of getting whoopings, I realized, I need to listen. I remember one day, folks, let me tell you something funny. I got whoopings every day as a child because I was so mischievous. I wasn't bad. I was just mischievous. Mm-hmm. I was always the one to just want to question everything and everybody. Challenge. Not in a disrespectful way, but when something didn't make sense to me, I would just ask questions to my teachers, my parents. I questioned the pastor in the church. You're supposed to question the pastor.
Yeah, listen.
But what didn't make sense, while we taking 6 offerings in the six, we need six past the offering plate, 6 times in one service. Jesus Lord. So I would question, and I would get whooped for questioning. I was getting whooped for, always protecting everybody. I bully the bullies. When bully beat people up, I go beat up the bully. My parents would say, mind your business, boy, and I get whooped. One day I went to my father. I got whooped every day, literally every day, because I was so mischievous. One day I went to my father. I was about 9 years old. I said, Daddy, how come you ain't whooped me today?
Oh, goodness.
I thought whoopings was a part of childhood. He said, son, you didn't do anything to deserve to be whooped. You're a well-behaved boy now. He says, I whooped the devil out of you. I said, you sure did. But I had to get chastised over and over and over. But it was out of love. Mm-hmm. Unconditional love is what my parents had for me. So as painful as those whoopings were, I look back now and glad for every last one of them from both of my parents. One time they jumped me. I was in kindergarten. I did something I shouldn't have done. I got home. Both of my parents, they jumped me. They tag teamed me. But I needed that. Yeah. That chastisement with love, folks. Many of you need to be chastised.
Yeah.
because you're out there all over the place trying to figure out your investment. You're mischievous in your investment. I'm going to tell you, you ought not to be mischievous in your investment because your family and your legacy can be on the line.
That's right. That's right.
This is where, folks, you need to be focused, not mischievous. And focused is not going all over the place to try to figure out what's going on, what's going on with the RV and what sounds good to you. That's foolishness. That's not intelligence. So we hitting this in your head about how the RV happens. It's out of love. I'm whooping you right now out of love. I know some folks gonna get mad.
We're too close to really hold anybody's hand and just sugarcoat stuff.
Yeah, we're
the truth
past
is
that.
Out there. It's in white and black.
We did that for a year and a half. Now, so now we just gonna have to get. We had to give you the whooping about how the RV happens through trade, not Hong Kong planes, not Chinese elders, not pink elephants, not purple dragons, yellow, none of this garbage. People, secret codes, secret people, high level sources, RV document signed. All that is BS times 10.
Facts.
Trump administration, the revaluation of currencies is likely to be priority of the second Trump administration, large in part to the trade deficit. How are they going to do it? Weaken the dollar. What's happening right now? Weakening of the dollar. What's happening right now? Because of the weakening of the dollar, other countries are beginning to utilize their own currencies. Where? Through trade. So what's happening with those currencies? They're getting stronger. What are happening with the emerging market currencies? Many of the wealth management firms are sending out newsletters to their clients, which many of you are on this call, and you're getting the updates about those currencies. None of the updates that you're getting from the actual bankers say anything about RV documents signed, Kurdistan, budget tables, all of that garbage. Currency evaluation is likely to be priority of the second Trump administration, the RV, because of trade. The same thing that Goldilocks has been saying for 7 years. Now let's get into Forex. The absolute root of foreign currency is Forex. The multi-trillion-dollar daily transactions in Forex and the codes for those currencies have been updated. As of this month. Didn't know that, did you? Probably didn't want to know. That's fine. But would you not at least want to have an idea about what you hold so that when you go to exchange, just imagine you go into the exchange and there's potential. And I know this can happen. I'm going to explain it to you. Just imagine you go into exchange and the banker asks you a question about other potential investments with your currency, whereby your currency can be expanded, possibly, double, triple, possibly. And if you don't know the answer to their question, they'll kindly introduce you to a wealth manager. But what if at least the wealth manager asks you and you have no clue that your currency has a code? You don't have to know what it is, but did you know that it has one? Did you know that IQD is the actual international code for the dinar, the VND for the dong? If I'm sitting there as a wealth manager and I ask you, ma'am, sir, did you know that your currency has a code? And you're like, I'm not going to judge you, but I'm going to think, man, this person doesn't really they don't really pay attention to their investment that well. This is not a person that I'm going to give the top level advice to. I'm going to give them the low level advice because they're a low level thinking investor. This is how wealth managers think. Ask me how I know.
How you know? Don't stop.
Let's go. Come on. We're going to get into Forex Global Code updated in 2025, folks. The Forex codes. And there's more coming. Let's go.
Forex Global Code updated in 2025. Yes, the FOREX Global Code received a significant update in 2025. On the 24th of January 2025, the Global Foreign Exchange Committee, under the auspices of the BIS, Bank of International Settlements, published the latest version in December of 2024, following the completion of its second 3-year review.
Let me touch on this. Folks, there are 4 major agencies. Again, this is tough love because I have to repeat it sometimes. Like I used to have to get those whoopings consistently, repeatedly, over and over again. There are 4 major agencies responsible for the currency revaluation because they oversee all of the currencies: the U.S. Treasury, the World Bank, International Monetary Fund, and the Bank of International Settlements. And it is telling you here that there was a global foreign exchange. There's a committee which had a conference we're going to talk about, but this committee updated the codes, the FOREX codes, to the latest version that was just implemented. Would you not realize that these codes must be updated prior to the values of these currencies changing in a drastic way? Key changes. You can hit that.
Key changes. Refinements to 5 of the 55 principles. Principles 9, 10, 35, 50, and 51.
1 second. This is very specific. There are 5 principles within these codes. Folks, this is very technical. We're not going to get into the technicalities. But understand that the codes, these are digits. This is technology within the banking system, and the technology is responsible for making sure of the accuracy of our exchanges, the settlement, the speed for our exchanges, the origin from where you purchased your exchanges from. These codes see everything. They have to be updated to record everything so that there is no discrepancies or inaccuracies when we exchange. But there are principles, digital principles. There's 55 with 5 of them that were refined. Just think how detailed this is, that codes had to be updated and refined in 5 of the 55 within the banking system. Are you beginning to realize, folks, how sophisticated this is, how detailed this is? And just imagine all the banks around the world. How can all the banks around the world with all these codes, FOREX codes, all these updates, somebody going to push a button and everything and just poof, change at once? That is fantasy land. That's not facts. Go, young lady. Strength and guidance.
Strengthening guidance on FOREX settlement risk, including a new risk waterfall hierarchy prioritizing payment versus payment and other mitigation methods. Enhanced transparency requirements for algorithmic execution, delegated trading, and the use of client-generated data, executed or not, on electronic platforms.
Folks, that's fine. Folks, this is where the exchanges are done in the banking system, which are on electronic platforms. And the updating of the FOREX settlement system, and the settlement, what this is when the speed of your exchange is being settled. Like when you go to the bank and you deposit or withdraw money, that transaction has to be settled. You get a receipt and it's settled. So that means the settlement, folks, is both sides of the transaction must be recorded. When you make a deposit into the bank, if it takes 3 to 5 days to clear, that means it takes 3 to 5 days to settle. If it takes 7 to 10, that means it takes 7 to 10 days to settle. Currency exchanges will be instant because the payment systems are updated with the newer technology and the algorithms so that it's instant settlements. And Goldilocks shared several weeks ago, whereby instant settlements is now integrated into the banking system. We're going to see it tonight so that when we exchange our currencies, the transactions are instant. It's a part of the codes. You can continue.
Updated and expanded disclosure cover sheets for liquidity providers and e-trading platforms to improve comparability. The update supersedes the July 2021 version. Market participants are encouraged to review the changes and renew their statements of commitment where relevant. No further updates to the code itself have occurred since January 2025, as of November 2025. Subsequent GFXC meetings focus on adoption progress, settlement risk analysis from the BIS Triennial Survey.
Remember, from the BIS Triennial Survey, folks, again, the Bank of International Settlements, the BIS, they are one of the 4 agencies, global agencies, that oversee the revaluation of currencies. They did tests on these codes about 1.5 years ago. Now they're live. The codes in the banking system. Now we're going to get into the FOREX Global Code and its guidelines for FOREX and what's involved with these codes and how our exchanges will be done because of these codes. Go, young lady.
The FOREX Global Code is a set of global principles and guidelines for good practice in the wholesale foreign exchange market, developed to promote its integrity, transparency, and efficiency.
This is, folks, to ensure integrity, transparency, and efficiency of our exchanges. No, that's not important, is it? No. Nah, go ahead and want to exchange 8 million, you get 3 million in return. You'll be fine with that, right? You don't care about integrity and transparency, do you? Nah, it's not important. Nah, who would care about that? No,
right.
You. Folks, this is very, very important for you to understand what's happening behind the scenes. Literally happening behind the scenes, which real fact. So it's happening so much so behind the scenes that it's traceable. It's in the public. It's in black and white. Goldilocks share the actual sources from the New York Fed, from the Bank of International Settlements, telling you what's happening and how it's happening and why, to assure the integrity, transparency, and efficiency of exchanges. Who would want efficient exchanges? Nah,
exactly.
Just go behind the pig to the dumpster and get your receipt on a used toilet paper. Go ahead, young lady.
It is a voluntary code.
I couldn't help it. I was going to say a used feminine product, but I said no. That's the bathroom. So go ahead. Some people would do it if they figure I'm gonna be a trillionaire. I'm gonna be a trillionaire. Go and put my receipt on a feminine product. Come on, folks. Y'all need to wake up. This is y'all investment, and y'all here playing about all over the place, 7, 8, 9 different channels, and see who's gonna tell you what you want to hear to figure it out and try to connect the dots and put the pieces of the puzzle together. Come on, man. This is y'all investment. Would you go to work and you expect to get your paycheck, and you got 3 bosses, and you go on the day you're supposed to get paid, and you go ask each 3, you go to HR, you ask where your check, you go to your immediate supervisor, where your check, you go to the janitor, he say, where's my check? You go to, you ask all these places, where your check? You gonna wait and go to all these different people, or you gonna go straight to the source, the head? Who is who's in charge?
Right. HBIC, yeah, exactly.
Come on. This is your investment. You expect millions, and you're not going to want to know the source?
Couldn't be me.
You're not going to want to know what's involved. You're just going to believe what somebody tell you. So if you walking out of your job and you didn't see that direct deposit hit your account, and you in upper management or you in mid management, and the janitor told you he got paid with cash, you're gonna go back to your boss. Hey, boss, can you pay me in cash too? Nah, you're gonna want things to be done efficiently, right?
Absolutely.
So you're not gonna want that for millions that you expect,
right?
Come on, you can continue.
Sad. It is a voluntary code, not a legal or regulatory one, that was created through a collaboration between central banks and market participants worldwide.
Focus on the central banks, folks. This is between central banks and market participants. Market participants are the international firms, the international institutions that move foreign currency on the stock market and on the water in the trillions daily. The central banks, those are the banks that govern the currencies. The Central Bank of Iraq, for the dinar, the Central Bank of Vietnam for the dong. These are the central banks. They collaborated with the Bank of International Settlements for these codes. And you're going to hear later on this call where Iraq and Vietnam, I'm just giving you an example, their banking systems have updated to the codes, to the messaging system of the codes. Go, young lady.
Key areas include ethics, governance, execution, information sharing, risk management and compliance, and confirmation and settlement processes.
Remember, settlement processes is when you go and you exchange. You slide your currency across the desk. And in the amount of time that amount that you expect is registered to your account, which should be instant. That's called a settlement. So the settlement process, the codes include the speed and efficiency of the settlement process. In other words, AKA, your exchanges include an efficient process in order to register to your account. Go, young lady.
Core principles. Ethics. Promotes fairness and integrity in the Forex market.
Regulation, folks. These are ethics.
Mm-hmm.
This is to make sure that the bank that you go to exchange your currency at has proper ethics and principles, guidelines. Why? Because they're regulated by the government, by the international finance system, to assure that your transactions are fair and correct. What principles, what ethics, what governance will you have at the Redemption Center? Go ahead, young lady. Never. Where are the codes? Where's the ethics? Where's the guidelines? Where's the principles? Right. Where's the protection, the security, the efficiency, the transparency? How is that? Your Redemption Center is transparent, but they told you it's not going to be available until the RV? That's not transparent.
Nope.
Transparency means if you're from, what's the state? If the show me state.
What is it?
Is it Missouri? What? Missouri. The show me state.
Okay.
Some of y'all need to treat your investment like you from Missouri. If somebody is telling you that there are places, any place, I don't care where it is, that you're going to take your currency and exchange it, but they're not available yet to talk to? Come on, folks. Is that transparent?
Not at all.
Is that efficient?
Not at all.
But you would piss a fit if you missing $5 on your paycheck.
That's a fact.
And you expect millions, and you don't even want to know where you're going to exchange. I mean, like, meet somebody, get a business card, a shake, a touch the flesh, nothing. You're just going to believe what you hear on the internet from somebody telling you to wait? Yeah, I'm whooping y'all asses right now with love. I'm chastising y'all with tough love right now because y'all need it, just like I got it when I was a child. But it whipped me in the shape to be efficient myself. This is y'all investment. Oh, but depend on what you hear on the internet from your favorite preachers. Gurus. Go, young lady.
Governance. So silly. Governance encourages a robust governance framework with clear accountability and oversight.
Clear accountability and oversight. The governance, meaning you are protected when you go to exchange your currency. There is consequences if you go to exchange your currency and something that isn't right on the banking side. You have protection. Where's your protection if you don't even know where to go, who to talk to? You're just going to wait for somebody to send you a ding, ding, ding. You got mail. That's what you're waiting for? Go ahead, young lady.
Execution emphasizes acting with diligence when negotiating and executing transactions.
Whoa. This is a heavy one right here. Execution. Emphasize, folks, this is core principles when you exchange your currency that the banks must follow. Emphasizes acting with diligence on your behalf when negotiating and executing your exchange. Is this not important for you, folks? That there's governance for your exchange, diligence in executing your transaction? For your folk, I know it's AI, but I think of that one joint, that clip I posted in the room where the lady comes out of the redemption center. They took my currency and kicked me out. I thought redemption centers were real. I'm telling you, that's going to be a lot of y'all.
It is.
I'm telling you, it's going to be. Let's go. I'm telling you.
It's a great foreshadowing. I swear that was.
It is. I'm telling you, it's going to be bad. Yeah, but see, if you don't want to know, you want to you just want to go ahead and accept what you're being told. Okay, that's fine. Accept it, but do your due diligence,
please.
I'm not telling you what to believe or what not to believe, but I am telling you to do your due diligence at least.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to be here to save you when you exchange. And guess who ain't going to be there for you? The same folks that told you to wait.
Exactly. Wow.
While you, I won't say how you supported that, but you supported it. But go ahead, young lady. You can continue.
Information sharing outlines clear, accurate communication and the protection of confidential information.
Go ahead. Risk management.
Risk management and compliance supports a strong control and compliance environment for identifying and mitigating risk.
Oh, this is deep. Confirmation and settlement. Confirmation and settlement of your exchanges. Go ahead.
Stresses the importance of efficient and transparent post-trade processes.
Folks, this is inclusive of stresses the importance of efficient and transparent post-exchange processes. This is guidelines and rules that are implemented in the government and the banking system for foreign currency exchange. It's called FOREX Global Code Compliance and Principles. This is in the banking system, folks. No other place other than the banks.
Yeah.
Now, Goldilocks is sharing how the central banks follow a non-mandatory FOREX Global Code as well. They're covering all the bases. Yes. And all these banks, folks, must be compliant. We're going to get into why in a little bit. Because if they're not compliant, their banks won't even be able to function in the new banking system. They'll be left behind. And no, they don't want to do that because they're going to lose trillions and trillions in dollars in profit if they are not compliant. But they've all come compliant. Go, young lady. Central banks.
Central banks follow the non-mandatory FOREX Global Code primarily to lead by example, maintain public trust, and promote the stability and integrity of the broader financial system. Adherence is a commitment to best practices rather than a legal obligation.
So what this is telling you folks is that the compliance with these codes wasn't mandatory, but it was highly recommended. And all banks, they followed through because they didn't want to be left behind when the new system for these new codes into the banking system. Because if they didn't comply, when these new codes go in, these new rates begin to move, the banks won't even be able to profit and benefit from the new rates because their systems won't, if they're not compliant with the codes, they won't be able to settle with the new rates. Go, young lady.
The market changes over time with new technologies, trading practices like algorithmic trading, and products emerging. The code is a living document that must be updated to address these new developments and provide clear guidance on acceptable standards of behavior in modern market conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Recent updates, such as those in December 2024, have focused on key areas like mitigating settlement risk and enhancing transparency around the use of Forex data on electronic trading platforms. These ongoing concerns require collective effort to manage effectively across the industry. While the code is voluntary and does not carry legal or regulatory penalties, the reputational cost of non-compliance and the shared interest in a stable financial system provide strong incentives for central banks to follow its principles.
1 second, beloved. This is very important. What this is telling you, folks, this is directly from the Bank of International Settlement saying that if these banks didn't follow the compliance, what they're saying is these banks would have been left behind, and other banks that became compliant would not want to transact and do business with banks that are not compliant because it was too much of a risk. So, for example, if you have Vietnam doing trillions in dollars in trade with a bank in Russia, and the Russia's banking system is not compliant, Vietnam would not want to do business with those banks in Russia. Russia would lose out on those trillions and trillions in dollars in transactions with Vietnam. You think they want to do that? Of course not. So what do? They all become compliant. They all became compliant. Good, young lady. Many central banks
also expect their trading counterparties to adhere to the code as a prerequisite for doing business.
That's what I was just explaining to you.
Mm-hmm.
So that in trading partners, so one country that's doing trade in literally billions daily with each other, and one of your trading partners said they're not going to be compliant. So within their systems, the Forex codes are not up to date, and you want to continue doing business with my country in the billions, I can't do business with you.
Right.
You're not compliant. So as these rates begin to move up, as everything begins to change, our systems are changing, but yours isn't. How can we continue to do business with you? We can't.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, young lady. In essence,
while not mandatory in a regulatory sense, adhering to the Forex Global Code is a professional and reputational necessity for central banks to fulfill their roles effectively and ensure the stability and integrity of the global financial system, especially post-2025.
So moving forward after 2025, 2026 and beyond, these banks they knew they had to be compliant with these new updated Forex codes, or these banks would have been left behind and lose billions daily. Go, young lady. Forex is undergoing.
Okay. Forex is undergoing the process of updating their codes. These changes represent the prominence of new local currencies beginning to show new demands on global trade. New codes are being interfaced between central banks, indicating a shift in how money is being processed through the new digital financial system. Therefore, the above articles are a brief synopsis of what is taking place with the implementation stage beginning in 2026 for many of these changes.
Now, folks, when it says new codes are being interfaced between central banks, indicating a shift in how money is being processed through the new digital financial system, and also when it says these changes represent the prominence of new local currencies beginning to show new demands, which, folks, I'm going to read this differently. The changes represent these FOREX code updates. The changes represent the prominence of new local currencies, which are what are the currencies you all hold? Well, the currencies we hold, they're local currencies. Dinar, Dong, and so they're all the local currencies of that country. These changes represent the prominence of the new local currencies beginning to show new rates. It says new demands, but folks, Goldilocks showed you in black and white from the actual sources. How does currency rates, how do they change? From supply and demand. So when it says these changes represent the prominence of new local currencies beginning to show new demands, that means show new rates on the global trade. That's what that means. Now we're going to get into two specifics. This is the ISO 222 compliant, which many of you, I would imagine, have heard of this by now. How will our exchanges occur? How will your dinars convert into USD or whatever currency you're exchanging into? How will the dong, the boulevard, whatever currency you have, how will it convert into the currency that you will exchange into? It will be through ISO 222 messaging. The codes, ladies and gentlemen. XRP, which is compliant. It's ISO 222. It's the root of XRP. How will the dinar convert into the USD or any other currency? It is through XRP. What is the what is the code? What is the messaging system for XRP to move the dinar into the other currency that you choose, or the ISO 222 is it. ISO, International Standardized Organization. That's what it stands for. International Standardized Organization. ISO. Go, young lady.
ISO 222 migration, transforming foreign currency exchange. As of November 22nd, 2025, SWIFT has fully mandated ISO 222 for all cross-border payment messages.
Oh, excuse me.
Go ahead.
Did you say all or some?
All.
2 quarters?
All.
3 quarters? 3 quarters?
All cross-border payment.
10%.
100.
100%. As of November the 22nd, SWIFT, which all banks, every last one of them,
all
connected to the SWIFT system, has fully mandated, not suggested, mandated ISO 222 for all cross-border payment messages. Folks, do you know what cross-border payments are? That's the technical term for foreign currency exchanges. When you have currency for one country and you exchange it for another country's currency that's on another border, it's called a cross-border payment messaging system. That's a currency exchange. For all banks, which all SWIFT is now compliant. Go, young lady.
Ending the coexistence with legacy MT formats. This shift replaces compact, limited data MT messages with rich, structured XML-based ISO 222 messages, carrying far more detailed information. like full party names, addresses, purpose codes, remittance data, and legal entity identifiers.
So, folks, what this is telling you is this: that this data, this messaging data, carries far more detailed information. When you exchange your currency, it carries data, it carries information digitally in the system. This is all it's telling you, that these codes, the ISO 222 carries that information in the system to complete your transaction. That's all this is saying. Key facts about what ISO 222 actually does. Go, young lady.
Okay. It standardizes how payment instructions and related information are formatted and communicated, including structured addresses, remittance details, and purpose codes. It supports faster, cheaper cross-border payments and better data analytics.
It supports faster, cheaper foreign currency exchanges and better data analytics. It supports faster, cheaper cross-border payments as currency exchanges, folks. Let me ask y'all a question. Has your redemption center been updated to these codes? Just wanted to know. What about the military bases? I'm just asking. Go ahead, young lady. By 2025. Go ahead.
By November 2025, it became the mandatory format for SWIFT cross-border payments and is being adopted by major payment systems worldwide, including those for reserve currencies like USD, FedWire and FedNow, the EUR, the GBP, etc.
1 second, beloved. This is very important. On the FedWire and FedNow, folks, this is where Iraq connected.
Yeah, you're right. They sure
in
did.
July through FedWire. Because why? Because FedWire is ISO 222 compliant. And it is how Iraq was able to connect to the U.S. banking system in preparation for the revaluation of currencies through ISO 222 being the messaging system, because Iraq banking system partnered with a company named Temenos. Temenos in 2024 connected into Iraq, into the banking system, and they are ISO 222 compliant because they are part of Ripple. And they connected through FedWire. These are things happening behind the scenes that many of you may not be aware of, and that's okay. You don't have to be. But this is why when Goldilocks shares these details with you, for you to understand that the revaluation of currencies is far more complex than somebody flipping a switch.
For real.
It don't work like that.
For real.
It's real, but what's not real is how you're being told it's done. The Trump administration. Now, for those of you, many of you on this call are patriots. And the Trump administration is telling you how the RV is done, but so many of you have been dumbed down with foo-foo that you don't even believe what the master patriot himself is telling you.
Exactly.
Go, young lady, you can continue.
It can carry information about any currency using ISO 4217 codes. And even reference.
Yes, we're gonna get into these ISO. We're gonna get into this ISO 4217 code, folks. This is what's the 3-digit code? Alphanumeric and numeric for the dinar, for the dong. You don't have to know, but at least would you want to see the list? Have an idea if what you hold is on it and is compliant with the new banking system? Go, young lady.
It can carry information about any currency using ISO 4217 codes and even reference cryptocurrencies as payload data, but it does not validate or certify cryptocurrencies itself. Key changes for FOREX landscape.
Changes coming, folks, for FOREX. Changes that now gone into effect for Forex. Folks, our currency exchanges is part of Forex. Would you not want to understand the changes that just occurred? Why did it change? Why did these changes happen? What was it for?
Mm-hmm.
How does it affect our investment? Let me personalize it for you. How does it affect your exchange?
Right.
I know some of you don't care. You just want to know when and how much. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's your business. But there's one person on this call that definitely wants to know how.
Absolutely.
And that person is who we want to reach. Because that person, the light bulb will go off. The light bulb will go off. And they'll understand.
Yeah.
You can go, young lady.
Key changes for Forex landscape. Tighter payment Forex integration. Structured data enables automatic linking of payments to underlying Forex trades, reducing manual interventions and errors in multi-currency flows. Improved transparency and forecasting. Enhanced fields provide clearer visibility into currency exposures, payment purposes, and counterparties, boosting treasury accuracy and real-time Forex risk management.
That's important. Beloved, you understand how important that is? Because
Yes.
folks, the Treasury is the of course one of the 4 agencies that's overseeing the RV, and they will be able to track the accuracy, efficiency, real time of our exchanges. Again,
I would like to know that if I was somebody on the other end of
wouldn't
this
you
call.
want to know? Just imagine if there's a mistake in your exchange. Now I know some of y'all are like, Freedom, what if I was supposed to get 10 million and the mistake got me 20? Is that good? I'm like, you better
Don't ask me.
I'm not gonna answer that one.
Exactly.
but everything with everything will be settled correctly. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
But just imagine if you are short in your exchange. Would you not want there to be some sort of system that tracks it and make sure that it's accurate?
Exactly.
Folks, you have the opportunity to meet the people that are involved, the bankers, the institutions. You have the opportunity to meet them ahead of time to make sure that you're all set and sorted. There's 8 steps that we've shared. Many people have followed. But I know many of you just like, nah, let me just wait and see if what I hear from these other gurus are right. About waiting. Because I want to get a higher rate out of Redemption Center. That's okay. That's your choice. That is just fine. But there's one of you like, Freedom done said this 1,000 times. He done whooped me out of love. And now it's starting to make sense.
That's it.
That one person is all I care about. I don't give a damn about how many of y'all don't like it or don't want to hear it. It's not about you.
At all.
Love does not discriminate when it comes to sharing the truth.
Yep.
Go, young lady.
Faster processing and reduced frictions. Fewer exceptions, rejects from compliance checks, like sanction screening, due to standardized complete data, supports near instant Forex settlement in aligned systems.
Remember I told you folks, instant settlements, the exchanges will be instant. I know for those of you like, if I was supposed to get 10 million and 20, I get 20 and it's instant. I heard and run and take my money. Nope. I know what some of y'all thinking. It's going to be so accurate and so efficient. Well, I hope so for it.
It is.
So. Go, young lady.
New revenue opportunities for banks. Richer data allows rapid launch of value-added Forex services, for example, embedded conversions and dynamic hedging, increasing competitiveness against fintechs, better compliance and fraud detection. Structured elements minimize data
Truncation.
truncation loss, enabling precise AML, KYC, and lowering false positives in cross-border Forex corridors.
Folks, it's enabling precise AMLs, anti-money laundering. This is where in the system, in the banking system, all done electronically, everything is going to be so, especially through artificial intelligence, AI, accurate and efficient. If anyone is your currency or your exchange is from a source of money laundering, any criminal activity, it'll literally be able to identify it. KYC, know your customer. For those of you who have your wealth managers, you've already passed this compliance of anti-money laundering and KYC, or else you wouldn't have them. You wouldn't even have a wealth manager. You wouldn't even be in their system. In order to be into their system, they've already done background checks on all of you. That's the AML, anti-money laundering, and KYC. Know your customer. It's a digital a blueprint of who you are and what you're doing. And it says, and lowering false positives in Forex and cross-border Forex quarters. This is lowering false positive is what that is lowering inaccurate foreign exchange numbers when you exchange. That's all that is. Go, young lady.
Global interoperability harmonizes with domestic systems, Fedwire, Target2, paving the way for seamless, low-cost multi-currency exchanges. Overall, ISO 222 shifts Forex from opaque, slow processes to efficient, data-driven ones, cutting costs, speeding settlements, and unlocking innovation in cross-border currency markets.
So the new from the overall ISO 222 shifts Forex from an old, slow system to a faster, cheaper system update for the new rates that are coming into effect. And of course, Goldilocks shares all of the links and the resources from the actual sources from Citigroup, Bank of America, JP Morgan, SWIFT itself. No opinions, no my sources, high-level sources say it. I don't know how folks can continue to listen to that.
I don't know, Freedom. Your guess is as good as mine.
Because it sounds so good. They tell me what I want to hear. It gives me hope. Good God Almighty. Go, young lady. Oh, okay. ISO 4217, folks. This is where, do you know if your currency is on the list? Did you know there is a list? We shared it before. Wiley shared in the room about a little over a year or a few months ago, a year and a half or so ago. ISO 4217, international standard, or ISO 4217, ISO 222 go hand in hand. This is the actual list of currencies that are in the international banking system. And what if, I'm just asking this question, what if one of you have currencies or any asset that you think or was told is going to be a part of this, and it's not even recognized in the international banking system. How you would know if it is or if it isn't? It would be on this list, where all the banks have already become compliant and upgraded to include those currencies because they have to be compliant with ISO 222 ISO 4217. If it's not here, folks, if it's not on this list of ISO, International Standardized Organization 427, if it's not there, so the banks don't recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, for example, that particular currency that you have, and you go to exchange it. Let's say whatever country. I'm not going to say any country because I don't want anyone to get alarmed. Whatever country for the currency, and you go to the bank, and the bank says, ma'am, sir, that currency is not recognized in the international bank, not just our bank, but the international banking system, to where the country from where that currency comes from, they don't even recognize it. Folks, it has to be on this list in order to know up front. Would you not want to know that?
Right.
Again, you expect on whatever time of the month or week, day that you get paid, you expect your money to be there. Where's your expectations to know the currency you hold is going to be there when you go to exchange, folks?
Right.
And you expect millions or billions, whatever the amount is. This is your opportunity to find out up front. And when you find out, when you learn, when you see it, you're going to be educated.
Yeah. The more educated you are, the better steward that you're going to be with this money.
Yeah. And also about the education, beloved, is people will find out what they have and what they don't have and what they thought they had when they check ISO 4217.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Folks, this is your opportunity to do your due diligence.
Yeah.
You don't have to know everything about the RV, but would you not at least want to know if what you have will be included? What if you're just going by all this time with the expectations of the RV of happening to find out that what you have, you can't even participate? But you have the opportunity that God is giving you with this list, ISO 4217, to find out.
Yeah.
But then some of you may look at it, and you might look on the list and you don't see the currency that you hold. That's possible.
Yeah.
You didn't know what you didn't know. It's happened.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, young lady, you can continue.
Okay. ISO 4217 updates for 2026 financial preparations.
Whoa. Oh, can you read that one more, they say downside, one more again?
I got you. ISO 4217 updates for 2026 financial preparations.
Folks, Goldilocks is giving you this information and directly from the sources. The links are there. Wikipedia, where you can check the list. The ISO.org actual site itself, International Standard Organization. The codes is right there. For those of you listening on YouTube, you can click the link at the top of the description. You can join the Goldilocks QFS Dialogues room. You can hit the search bar in our room, and it's right there. I know it's been floating all over Dinar land since we posted it. Yeah. It's been remixed. But go ahead, young lady. I'm not going to go there.
I was waiting. ISO 4217 currency codes are actively being updated in preparation for significant financial transactions in 2026. Why? To provide a clear and standardized way to identify currencies and funds in international trade, commerce, and banking.
This is very, 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 very important. Or as they would say in Mexico, very, 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 very important. Why? The ISO 4217 currency codes are actively being updated in preparation for significant financial transactions in 2026. Why? To provide a clear and standardized way to identify currencies and funds in international trade. Where is currency, FOREX done? Movement of rates on the water through what? Trade. Commerce, business transactions, banking, where money moves. Why are these codes being updated? To provide a clear and standardized way to identify currencies and funds in international trade, where supply and demand determines the rates. Go, young lady. The most notable.
The most notable change is Bulgaria's adoption of the euro on January 1st, 2026, replacing the Bulgarian lev. This was formalized in Amendment 180, published September 2025 by the ISO 4217 Maintenance Agency.
Good, be good. Now we will get into Iraq and Vietnam. Goldilocks is sharing. Go, young lady. How Iraq and Vietnam, they're ahead of the game with the compliance of these codes. Go ahead.
National currencies like the Iraqi dinar, Vietnamese dong, and Indonesian rupiah are not ISO 222 compliant themselves. ISO 222 is a messaging standard for electronic data interchange between financial institutions. It applies to the format of payment messages, not to the currency units like ISO 4217, which you just spoke about.
Yeah, so what folks are saying is that the currency is not compliant. So the dong isn't compliant, the dinar isn't compliant. The banking systems that they operate on, the Central Bank of Iraq, the Central Bank of Vietnam, and their banking systems are compliant. The currency is not compliant. It doesn't have to be. It's the systems from which they are governed by, the central banks. They are compliant. That's what Goldilocks is stating. Go ahead, young lady.
The central banks and financial systems of Iraq, Vietnam, and Indonesia are actively migrating to ISO 222 for cross-border and domestic payments, as required or encouraged by global payment networks like SWIFT and etc.
The central banks and financial systems of Iraq, Vietnam, and Indonesia are actively migrating ISO 222 for foreign currency exchanges. That's cross-border. And folks, Goldilocks is just providing a few examples. I know some of you are thinking of, what about this currency? What about that? It's just an example. That's all Goldilocks is doing. It's just giving you an example of a few. If you really want to know, just check the list, the ISO 4217 list. That's all you got to do. It's simple. Go ahead, young lady. Now, Goldilocks is going to show us the difference. What's the difference between ISO 4217 and ISO 222? Remember, ISO stands for International Standardized Organization. This is the standards for FOREX. Guidelines, standards, principles from which our currency will move and must be followed by the banks within the international banking system, by the banks where you go to exchange your currency, by the banks from which the currency that it comes from and the country it comes from is governed by. What system, guidelines, protocols are being followed at the
I knew it.
At the Piggly Wiggly? I just want to know. At the Redemption Center, what guidelines or codes are followed? I want someone to tell me, because I can tell you what the codes, what the guidelines are for the banking system. I can tell you what the codes are for the actual currency. But I can not only tell you, I can show you. Goldilocks has been showing you. Wiley has showed you. The tribe has been showing you, telling you, reading about it for over a year in the actual banking system, what the codes are for the currencies, for the revaluation. ISO 4217. What is the code, the compliance, the guidelines, the protocols, the principles from where you expect to go get your money? I really want you to think about it. What are the principles? What are the guidelines? What codes do they follow? You don't know.
Find out, let me know.
You don't. You won't even need to know, because you're already set with your international firm.
Absolutely.
So, folks, think about this. I really want you to think about the answer to my question, because everyone that's been following Goldilocks, Wiley, Freedom Fighter, and this beautiful tribe for the last year and a half, and they've established relationships, especially. They know the codes. They know that if their currency is on the list, they know where they're going to exchange. They know who's going to participate in it, who's going to facilitate the exchange for them. Now they understand that there's principles and guidelines because these banks are regulated. I want to know, I'm asking sincerely, what are the guidelines? Where is the list for the currencies or the James bonds that you expect to redeem at the redemption center? The only redeeming that will occur is in church. Folks have their souls redeemed, and when you get saved, that's the only redeeming going on.
Facts.
But I really want to know, where is the guideline? You should have the answer to this question. If I ask anyone, that has relationships with their bankers that have been following Goldilocks, they can tell you. They have the answers.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that in judgment. I'm not saying that with arrogance. I'm just saying it because it's a fact. They know. How come you don't know?
Yeah.
How come you don't know the person, the people, the bank, the institution that will facilitate your exchange? How come you haven't met them yet? What are you waiting for? I know what many of you are waiting for.
Yeah.
You are waiting for a notification because you're told there's a place you go to get a higher rate. But you keep on coming back to them channels and clickety click click, clickety click click. But I know some of y'all on these channels are on this call listening. You mad? You like, Freedom Fighter, why don't you just stop telling people the truth? You can't handle the truth. Go, young lady.
I remember when I Googled redemption centers near me and the recycling centers came up.
Right. Literally recycling centers. Yes. When I just for fun, I Googled it. I Googled redemption centers near me. And you know, you go to Walmart and they got those little chain where you put your coins and you can little kiosk, yeah. And you can also you can use that same kiosk. I think there's one next to it where you can get your keys made automatically now.
Oh my goodness!
So the little change center next to it.
Yeah, it's about the carpet cleaning thing. You can rent from
that's the redemption center that showed the address in Walmart.
Wow.
Was the coin exchange place.
Yeah.
Folks, you literally should Google or whatever search. And I know somebody, I remember one time over in the old room, I said Google Redemption Center, and somebody was like, I don't use Google. Okay, so whatever search engine, you should want to know.
Yeah.
Why would you not want to know? You're expecting to be wealthy.
Yeah.
generational wealth and you don't even know where you're going to go to exchange? But everyone that, not everyone, but most folks that I would imagine who's been following Goldilocks for quite some time, Wiley and Freedom Fighter in the tribe for some time, they know.
Yeah. Yep.
And this is not that we are better than anyone else. We just tell the truth.
Yeah.
And show the facts. But you know what? Yeah, we are better. Go ahead. I just had to say it. We are. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say, there's confidence in knowing.
Yeah.
And we can educate it over here.
Yeah. I mean, folks, literally, you should want to know.
Yes.
I don't understand, folks. This is something I really don't understand. How you expect to come into millions of dollars. You expect to be wealthy from your investment. You don't care to know? Or is it that you've allowed yourselves to believe that there's only that the best way? See, because I know how many of you think. You figure, well, I'm gonna wait to get this notification. If I don't get one, then I'm gonna go to the bank.
Mm-hmm.
But while you're doing that, while you're waiting, all of these beautiful people that have been following Goldilocks, Wiley, and Freedom Fighter, they are a year and a half. They're way ahead of you. Folks, did you know? I'm going to ask the question because I want you to think, critical thinking here. Did you know that wealth managers, they only take but a limited amount of clients?
I was going to say that. Yep.
I know some of you are thinking, oh, but I'm going to be rich. They're going to take my money. Okay, that's fine. You can get the intern wealth manager that just graduated from college. While you are in that wealth manager's office, and he looks like your grandchild.
Very much so.
I'm not judging. I'm not saying that,
Absolutely not.
There's no intelligence of a young wealth manager. I'm not saying that at all. But this is this is what you believe to be your life-changing moment.
Yes.
I would imagine, folks, and I'm doing this on purpose. And this is a whooping I'm doing for many of you on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Because you need it. I don't get nothing from it.
Exactly.
There's no benefit to me.
Exactly.
Go, young lady. You can continue.
Okay. ISO 4217 versus ISO 222 in foreign currency exchange. ISO 4217 is the international standard that defines currency codes and funds codes.
Ooh, it defines the currency that you hold, and it finances the codes. This is how the conversion of the dinar into USD or whatever currency you're going to exchange. Mm-hmm. This is how it's done, folks. These codes. This is how the money moves into your bank account for your exchange through this code. What if your currency is not even listed in the codes? What if where you expect to go and exchange doesn't even exist for these codes to be there?
Right.
Would you not want to at least know up front? You can continue.
It provides the familiar 3-letter codes like the USD, EUR, JPY, GBP, CNY, etc.
IQD, VND, VES, so forth and so on, folks. Mm-hmm. These Goldilocks is just giving you examples. Just examples. That's all this is. There's so many of these codes on this list. But go ahead. So those are the 3-letter codes. Again, IQD is for the dinar, VND for the dong, USD for the US dollar, so on and so on, and numeric codes. For example, go, young lady.
840 for USD, 978 for the EUR.
Mm-hmm.
They're used worldwide to ambiguously identify currencies.
Folks, these codes, there's a code for the dinar, the dong, every last one of them you have. It's so that the worldwide banking system will identify your currency so that your currency can be exchanged. But
Yeah.
it's okay. You don't need to know if your currency's on this list.
My goodness, people.
Just wait to get a notification to go to a redemption center. Because you were told you will get a higher rate. And I know some of you fuming right now. I'm going to get my higher rate at the redemption center because they told me that's where I go. Yeah, that paper plane that flew to Hong Kong, what happened to it? We showed you where the SEC and the FBI have been investigating and telling you about that for years. About Hong Kong. People talking about planes flying to Hong Kong. Marine, they've been talking about that foolishness for 20 years.
Wow.
Literally, I remember 15 years ago when I heard the one channel where the I don't know if y'all ever watched the show Dynamite. What was it? Good Times, and what was what's the dude? What was the? He used to say Dynamite. I forget the dude's name.
Dynamite.
Yeah. The older you're too young. You're too young.
No, but I remember the slogan. I remember the thing.
But yeah, Dynamite. I don't want to say the other name of Dynamite, but I think it was Roger or well, I forget. But anyway, there was a channel where he was 15 years ago talking about planes flying from Hong Kong. Literally. I'm like, what? And to this day, they still talk about, and he was talking about RB documents signed in Hong Kong 15 years ago.
Wow.
And to this day, it's just that type of talk. Yes, thank you. JJ, that's right. JJ.
JJ.
Yes. Dynamite. But it's another name of a, IED type of explosive device. 15 years ago.
Wow.
Folks, I don't think many of you don't even realize the echo chamber is strong in Dinar land. The propaganda is real.
Absolutely.
Y'all need to protect yourself, govern yourself, protect yourself with unconditional love and God's grace and discernment, folks. You must begin to do it.
Yeah.
Go, young lady.
In foreign exchange, or FOREX, ISO 4217 is essential for naming what currency is being traded or transferred, preventing confusion between similar currency names, like the old French franc versus the Swiss franc. For example, ISO 222 is a completely different standard. It is a rich XML-based messaging standard for financial data interchange. XML stands for Extensible Markup Language, a markup language used to structure, store, and transport data.
And that transporting of data, folks, includes the data includes the rate of your currencies. Go ahead, young lady.
Currency codes and exchange rates are frequently published in XML format for easy machine-readable data interchange. In foreign exchange, ISO 222 messages carry the actual transaction details, the amounts, rates, value dates, counterparties, settlement instructions, and crucially include the ISO 4217 currency codes inside the message payload.
Folks, did you just hear what she just read to you by Goldilocks? In foreign exchange, ISO 222 messages carry the actual transaction details for your exchange, the amount of your exchange, the rate of your exchange, the value dates, the counterparties, meaning where it's what country the currency is from, settlement instructions, meaning how fast your money will be in your account, and crucially include the ISO 4217 codes inside the message payload. The next, listen very carefully to what Peculiar Ram is about to read from Goldilocks in simple terms. And Goldilocks breaks down the what and the how. I know many of you don't want to hear it, but there's one of you that will. Go ahead, young lady.
In simple terms, ISO 4217 is the dictionary of currency names and codes. It is the what.
The what? What do you hold?
Mm-hmm.
It's the
Currency.
dictionary of currency names and the codes of the what. The what currency do you hold? Go, young lady. That's ISO 4217. What you hold.
ISO 222 is the modern language and grammar used to talk about FOREX transactions and payments. It is the how and what exactly is happening.
So ISO 4217 is the what. What currency? ISO 222 is how the currency moves in the system so that you can exchange it. It's all done electronically. This is think of communication, electronic communications that's done. When you make a phone call, whether it's your cell phone or text message, it's communication, wireless communication. Or if you still got a home phone, that's still messaging communication too.
Yeah.
All data. It's all data, all electronic. Same thing when you exchange currency. It's all data right now. But those codes behind the scenes for communication, but the codes have been updated. Go, young lady.
Most global payment systems like SWIFT after 2025, FedNow, CHIPS, Target2, SEPA, etc. They're all migrating from older proprietary or SWIFT MT formats to ISO 222 messages, which always embed ISO 4217 currency codes.
So whereby where it states the SWIFT, the old system, has migrated to the new system, ISO 222, which Iraq and Vietnam are compliant, and their banking systems and other compliant. And Goldilocks is stating which always, so ISO 222, which always embeds ISO 4217 currency codes. So in other words, ISO 222 always embeds the currencies from which many of you hold, but also from currencies that some of you may hold that are not even included. But if you don't know, if it's on this list, you don't know.
Yeah.
You just assume because you were told to go buy this currency, buy that, whatever bond, whatever it may be. If it's not on the list, it's not even recognized. And folks, the banking system does not operate like this. It doesn't operate that all of a sudden, due to some flip of the switch of an event, that all of a sudden the banks will just recognize something that hasn't even been tested, something that doesn't exist. It doesn't work that way.
Nope.
Because I know how many people think in Dinar land. Because and that's not just Dinar land. It's assuming if you've been convinced of one thing and one thing only, that certain things are going to happen a certain way, and then you hear something different. Not only hear it, but even shown to you in writing how something is different, you try to rationalize, conceptualize what you thought was true, and it still doesn't make sense to you.
Right.
Go, young lady.
This is about Iraq, right? Okay.
Yes, Iraq is transitioning into a digital dinar. And folks, the digital dinar will be compliant with ISO 222 and ISO 4217. It already is compliant, but go ahead.
Iraq is still transitioning into a digital dinar. We will talk about that tomorrow in some timelines. The foundation has been laid for the new digital banking system. At this time, it is time for countries to catch up to the new open banking system that will allow changes to take place. From this moment forward, the interfacing of international payment systems and the digital assets that will move traditional assets from country to country and person to person just set the stage for the next act.
So the stage is set, folks.
Mm.
The next act is 2026. These codes have already been updated. Whether or not you are aware of if what you hold is included, what we'll do is after this call, we'll post into the room the ISO 4217. Well, it's actually in the articles that Goldilocks shared, but some of you may not see it, and we'll just go ahead and post it in the room so that you can see for yourself and educate yourself if what you hold, if what you believe is going to be included and the rates will change as an RV, you should at least, I would imagine you would want to know if it's there in the international banking system or if what you hold is just monopoly money.
Yeah.
All right, beautiful folks. Enjoy the rest of your weekend with your family, your friends, and I know I am. I got some more leftovers that I need to finish, and some.
You got
got one more
that cheesecake over here.
No, I didn't have no cheesecake, but I do got one more slice of sweet potato pie. I need to finish.
Oh my goodness! We're gonna have to use that ISO 222 messaging system to transfer from you to me.
I know, right? Awesome. Everyone, have a good night. We love you. We appreciate you. And be well, be kind, folks. Take care. Be well.
Good night.
Good night.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance to get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.